You think your daily grind is just how life is, a constant push just to get by. You believe making things better needs huge sacrifices, big changes, or a massive push. But a brilliant Japanese idea changes everything you thought you knew about improvement. It shows how even the smallest, easiest steps can instantly fix those nagging daily frustrations. Your entire everyday life is about to get a whole lot smoother and more satisfying, one clever move at a time. And that feeling, it's not just in your head. It turns out most of us feel totally swamped by our daily lives, especially with work stress. It makes our goals feel impossible and leaves us feeling stuck, not even knowing where to begin. It's like you're trying to climb a huge mountain, but you can't even see the first step. But this is where that brilliant Japanese idea, Kaizen, comes in to instantly fix that feeling. The name itself is incredibly simple. Kai means change, and Zen means for the better. The whole idea is to stop trying to make massive, scary changes that just burn you out. Instead, you focus on making tiny, almost effortless improvements every single day. The goal isn't to be perfect overnight. It's just to get 1% better. It's a complete shift in how you look at things. You're not waiting for one big moment to change everything. You're just looking for one small, clever way to make today a little smoother than yesterday. And those tiny fixes are what add up to a huge improvement, making your entire life feel easier. So let's start with the one place that affects us more than anywhere else: our own home. That messy corner of your room, or that pile of papers on your desk, it's not just an eyesore. It's actually a source of stress, and there's science to prove it. Researchers at UCLA did this incredible study where they looked at families in their homes. And they found something fascinating. The women who described their homes as cluttered or full of unfinished projects didn't just feel more stressed, their bodies were physically showing it. They had higher levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, pumping through them all day long. Basically, living in a disorganized space keeps your body in a constant state of low-grade panic. It's a low hum of anxiety that never quite goes away, draining your energy and making everything feel harder. So how do you fix this without spending an entire weekend on a massive, painful cleaning project? You use a clever Kaizen system called 5S. We're not going to get into all 5 steps, but the core idea is simple. Make small, continuous improvements to your space. You're not aiming for a perfect minimalist showroom. You're just trying to make it 1% easier to live in. Here's a perfect example. Think about your kitchen. You probably have a favorite pan you use for almost everything, right? And you also have that weird-shaped cake pan or that turkey baster you use maybe twice a year. But where are they? For most of us, they're all just shoved in a cabinet together. So every time you want to cook, you have to dig past the stuff you never use to get to the stuff you always need. It's a tiny, pointless frustration, but it happens every single day. A Kaizen fix is ridiculously simple. Take 2 minutes, literally just 120 seconds, and swap them. Put your favorite pan and spatula on an easy-to-reach hook or right at the front of the most convenient cabinet. Then take that turkey baster and stick it on a high shelf or in the back of a deep drawer. That's it, you just made a 1% improvement. It's not a huge, life-changing event. But tomorrow, when you go to make breakfast, you'll just reach out and grab the pan. No digging, no clanging, no tiny flash of annoyance. You've removed a small piece of friction from your daily life. And that is the whole point. You're not organizing the kitchen. You're just making one thing, one single motion, instantly easier. Now, that same idea of removing friction doesn't just apply to things. It's even more powerful when you apply it to your time. Think about that mini panic you feel when you're about to leave the house and your keys are just gone. Or your phone. Or your wallet. You pat your pockets, you check the counter, you look under the mail. It feels like just a few seconds of frustration, something you just have to deal with. But those seconds add up in a way that is genuinely shocking. One study found that the average person can spend up to 153 days of their entire life just looking for misplaced items. Let me say that again. 153 days. That's almost half a year of your one precious life spent on a completely pointless, frustrating task. And it's not just a long-term problem. Other research shows that Americans waste an average of 2.5 full days every single year on that same hunt. That's a whole weekend, every year, gone forever. These moments aren't just lost time. They're what you could call friction points. They're like tiny speed bumps in your day that sap your energy and kill your momentum. Each time you have to stop and search for something, you're pulling yourself out of your flow and injecting a small dose of stress into your system. So what's the clever Kaizen fix for this? It's not to go out and buy a bunch of expensive organizers or install a smart home system. The solution is ridiculously simple. Create one designated spot for your keys and build the habit of putting them there the second you walk in the door. That's it. Maybe it's a small bowl by the entrance. Maybe it's a specific hook on the wall. The tool doesn't matter. What matters is the tiny, deliberate improvement to your routine. James Clear, the author of the massive bestseller Atomic Habits, said it perfectly. He explained that we almost always overestimate how important one big defining moment is. And we completely underestimate the power of making small improvements every single day. Fixing these little friction points is exactly what he's talking about. You're not trying to become a new, super organized person overnight. You're just making one tiny change that instantly makes tomorrow a little bit smoother than today. By taking just a few seconds to fix one of these tiny, recurring problems, you are literally buying back your own time and energy. You're turning a small, consistent effort into a huge long-term gain and making your entire day feel just a little bit easier. This is the real secret behind Kaizen. It's a way of thinking called the 1% mindset. It sounds complicated, but all it meant was this: find a 1% improvement in every single tiny thing you do. His team broke down everything that goes into riding a bike and looked for a 1% fix. They did the obvious things, like testing different fabrics in a wind tunnel to find the fastest one. But they also did things no one else was thinking about. They tested different massage gels to see which one helped muscles recover faster. They hired a surgeon to teach the athletes the perfect way to wash their hands to avoid getting sick. They even tested all the pillows and mattresses the team used to make sure every single rider got the absolute best night's sleep possible. On their own, none of these little changes seemed like a big deal. A better pillow? A different soap? Who cares? But when they all added up, the results weren't just good. They were unbelievable. Just 5 years later, at the 2008 Beijing Olympics, that same team that had been a laughingstock for decades suddenly dominated. They won an incredible 60% of all the gold medals available in cycling. 4 years after that, at the London Olympics, they did it again, breaking 9 Olympic records and 7 world records. Soon after, British cyclists won 5 Tour de France races in just 6 years. It became the single most successful run in the history of the sport. And it all came from that one simple idea. Don't try to do anything amazing. Just be 1% better over and over and over again. This is what makes the whole idea of improvement feel so much easier.